YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the lower 90s. We're only going to drop into the lower 70s as we head into the overnight and then early into your Friday morning. A partly sunny sky Friday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 90s. We're really going to begin to heat things up as we head into the weekend. A partly sunny sky on Saturday. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s. Much the same as we head into your Sunday. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s under a mostly sunny sky. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Each week, check out our latest Zone deal online at 977ESPN.com.
I'm eating good food.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
Can you get me all done?
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Throwback Thursday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham, and today we're going to throw it back to when I used to do this show. You know, back in the day when I used to do this. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, come on now, I'm just kidding. Look, the sports are still the more important thing. The sports are still the most important thing. I got plenty of time to talk about it, but the athletes are what really matter. And another thing, don't think that just because that I am not on the show that I'm on like vacation or that I'm off chilling somewhere. It's just not the way it is. This is considered the off season for us, but there is a ton of work to get done in preparation for the real season, which begins in Dallas at SEC Media Days in 4 weeks. Now, next week, there'll be the actual vacation. Now, next week, it's the actual vacation thing. All right? Heading off to the cabin in North Georgia with the Junkyard Babe. In fact, Steve will be off next week as well. So we're going to have Spartan staff next week. And then when I get back, Grizz is going to be gone for a week. We need to get him some time off. We got to get it now, or we'll never get it. If we don't get it now, we'll never get it. Now, look, don't get me wrong. I work in the toy department of life. I understand that. I wear two hats, here at the radio station and with Bassmaster. So my office is often at stadiums or at lakes when I'm not producing content from the studio, which is across the street from my home. So I am blessed beyond measure. I understand that. So I'm not complaining. Now, as a kid growing up, always a Yankee fan. But back when the leagues were truly separate, when we had American League and a National League, and the two never met, except for the All-Star Game and a World Series. That was it. So there were two really different leagues. It's not like now where the Braves are in the middle of playing 12 straight games against American League teams. Nobody even thinks of that anymore. It's like nobody cares. It's like it's just MLB now. They had separate umpires. The umpires had separate uniforms. They had different rules with the DH and didn't have the DH. The National League was known as a fastball league and a low ball league. The American League was known as more of a breaking ball league and a higher pitch league. I mean, they were totally different. The AL umpires and the NL umpires, and then they would put together a crew of mixed umpires for the All-Star game and the World Series. That's the way it was, kids. So back in the day, my National League team was the San Francisco Giants. My dad was friends with Johnny Antonelli, who was from our hometown of Rochester, New York, went to Jefferson High School there, and he pitched for the Giants in the 50s. He actually started with the Boston Braves, 1948-49, Boston Braves, and then he went to Milwaukee with the Braves, then he went to the service. Because that's what these guys did back then. They went to the service, Korean conflict. And he pitched for the Giants, the New York Giants, in the 50s, before they left New York. And was a 6-time All-Star beginning in 1954, which is a critical year in Giants history. That was the year that he and a young kid by the name of Willie Mays got back from the service. That year, the Giants won the World Series. Willie Mays' only World Series. Willie was the National League MVP. Johnny Antonelli, a pitcher, finished third in the voting and was an all-star as well. Now, by the time I come around in 1960, Willie, Johnny, and the Giants are in San Francisco. And my earliest recollections of Willie Mays, I never saw Johnny Antonelli pitch. I think he was done in 62. I'm 2 years old. I wasn't watching baseball then. My earliest recollection of Willie Mays are with Willie McCovey in those late 60s, early 70s teams. And remember, the Yankees, even though they were dominant in the early 60s, I'm an infant then, so I don't know nothing about that. By the time I start watching baseball, I'm 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. It's until I'm 16 years old before the Yankees win a World Series. So, I mean, I'm listening to, the old Yankees in the late 60s, the CBS-owned Yankees in the 60s and in the early 70s on the transistor radio, falling asleep, and are awful. It was a terrible time for them. Post Mickey Mantle, it was bad. It was bad. Anyway, Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, those guys in the late 60s and early 70s, that was my National League team. And I remember being sad seeing Willie Mays stumbling around for the Mets in 72, 73. Now, I probably overplayed that in my mind when I was 10, 11 years old, 12 years old. I'd probably overplay that, but there's a video. There's a time where Willie Mays is coming around third and he just kind of stumbles down. He's in his early 40s then, and this is before the DH, so he had to play. He was either just a pinch hitter or he'd have to play in the field. Mays is the greatest baseball player that ever lived. He missed 2 prime seasons to serve the country. He finished 54 home runs behind Babe Ruth. His first 2 years back from the service, he hit 92 home runs. That would have put him at 752, 10 shy of where his PED-fueled godson ended up at 762, and 3 behind Hank Aaron's legitimate 755 mark. But that's just one aspect of his game. He was the best outfielder that ever lived. He ran like the wind. He led the league in stolen bases for 4 straight years. Back when stolen bases were not a huge priority, he just stole twice as many. He hit .301 for his career, and that includes his hitting around .250 for the last 4 years of his career when he shouldn't even have been playing anymore. But he still landed at .301. When he came back from the service in the prime of his life, 23 years old, he hit .345. What would he have hit in those 2 years that he was gone? He was the say-hey kid. Mostly because he never learned his teammates' names. He would just say, hey! That's how he became the say-hey kid. So tonight, he will be honored in the town and at the stadium where he played his first pro games with the Birmingham Black Barons in 1948, where he played 13 games with them at age 17. I don't know how many of them were in Birmingham. He might have only played. You're going to get you might get the impression tonight, depending on how they handle it, that, he was a Birmingham Black Baron for some long period of time. He played 13 games with them. Let's say half of those games were at Rickwood. He might have played 7 or 8 games at Rickwood Field. He might have played 6 games at Rickwood. But he did play there. And that is his hometown. It is his hometown. Ironically, he played the corner outfields in those 13 games. Never played center field until 51, where he's rookie of the year with the Giants. Coming up in a few minutes, Steve Merril, our friend from WagerTalk TV, will join us. And then at the top of the one, Josh Caray is in with some country hardball talk in Carey's Corner. And the phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. You can text the show at any time, 24/7, at 7329-TA-SHOW. That's 732-982-7469, which is a great way to communicate with us. My X feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show there, and you can watch it on our YouTube channel at WZZN TV. Like and subscribe on YouTube for notifications. Our Facebook page is at 97.7 ESPN. There you'll find a link to the YouTube feed of the show, where you can watch it on WZZN TV as well. Go to 977ESPN.com, get links to all of that stuff. And while you're at it, get the app. You want the app. There you get links to Zone 2, 3, 4, and 5 as well, all our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. Get the Talk Radio WZZN app as well. You got room on your phone for it, so put it on there. That's where you're going to find the Trash Pandas. Over the air on 97.7-2 and on the Talk Radio WZZN app. All right, that dude over there that's playing the Platters of Matter and the Stacks of Wax and answering the phones and keeping us on the air. And you know what? Maybe because it's primarily baseball season now, we'll call him Chop House Chad.
In the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
That Thom? Hey, Thom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Grizzalicious. How do you like being an American League team here for a couple of weeks? Not that it matters, right? I guess. I mean, the Braves coming off a 3-game sweep of the lowly Tigers.
Yeah.
And now you had the Yankee Stadium after the Rickwood deal tonight.
Yeah.
Had the Yankee Stadium for 3 with the Bombers beginning tomorrow night. 12 straight games against the American League. It's crazy.
Yeah, just start winning. Start getting some wins tallied up and start getting some hits. And Albies is showing up huge. Murph with the 2 home runs. He's got 3 on the year so far following all the injuries, getting hit with a baseball. And then somehow, just changing whatever he's doing. So, Azuna leading the league in all these categories and everything like that. Just keep winning, keep pushing, and
slowly
keep doing well
kind of chipping away.
Yeah.
I mean, now within
chip away
7.
At that Phillies lead,
Yeah, the Phillies are 4-6 in their last 10, while the Braves are 6-4. Phillies are 4-6. You really, if you can get away from the wild card, you want to get away from the wild card because of the, you had that's such a crapshoot. But so the division, look, is definitely in play. 7 games back. The Phillies have much more difficult schedule in the second half than they've had in the first half. And Braves have won 3 in a row. Phillies just lost the game again last night. So it's extremely doable. That's what it is. It's doable.
Yeah, but by the way, we keep talking about baseball, and you kind of was recollecting a little bit about your youth and everything like that. I saw a great question over the weekend, and it was, when you were 10 years old, who was that mediocre MLB player that you used to like watch all the time? That was like your guy. He wasn't the star, but he was like he was your guy basically, like outside of the star.
A guy.
Yeah. Like if you were like 10, 12 years old, like 10 years old.
12 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, so early 70s for me. My guy, Sandy Alomar.
Okay.
The original Sandy Alomar.
Yeah.
Not
bad.
Not senior, not Sandy Alomar Jr.
Yeah.
The dad, Sandy Alomar.
Right.
All right. Sandy Alomar played, he was second base, I think, for the Yankees. Then I would say Sandy Alomar was a guy like that, for me. Chicken Stanley would be another one a little bit later on, a little mid-70s action. I would say a guy like that was that guy for me.
For me,
who was it for you?
For me, would be that center infield. It was always Marcus Giles because of number 22. That's why I like Tucker Flint for the trash can as number 22. And then it was also Rafael Furcal. I mean, that center infield was, it was just fun to watch defensively. I know the bats weren't great. And I think Marcus Giles is one of like the only like 5 or 6 players that's had like a 13-game, multiple game hitting streak or something like that in the MLB.
Is that ridiculous. So would that be a mediocre player, though, or would he have been? He was a pretty good player.
But Marcus Giles was never like the guy, basically. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's when I say mediocre, I mean like a guy that really didn't, go beyond. I guess maybe when I was a little bit older was Jeff Francoeur. I don't want to like sit here and dog Frenchie, but Frenchie was like the poster boy, and he was supposed to be this great player.
Remember, he had the best first 2 months. First half of his career. The first half of the first year of his career was off the chart. It was absolutely ridiculous. I'm looking at the Yankees roster in 1973. Sandy Alomar wasn't even with them then. He must have been a little bit before then. Stick Michael was the shortstop. Horace Clark, that's why we call it the Horace Clark years. Horace Clark was the second baseman. Roy White in left field. Bobby Mercer in center field. Matty Alou in right field with his brother Felipe Alou at first. They're all mediocre. The whole freaking team was mediocre. There's Chicken Stanley. He was, yeah.
It was like, I grew up, 2005 Baby Braves. That was sophomore year of high school for me, and just the impact and the love that they got, and it's just outside of the core that they had, they just really never did anything. That whole span until you got Ronald Acuna and Albies was just a weird, dismal time for Braves fans.
No, this is the wrong Sandy Alomar. I got to go all the way back. Not Sandy Alomar, not Sandy Alomar the catcher, not Sandy Alomar Jr. Man, it's crazy. All right. So tonight, Rickwood Field.
Yeah.
It's already set to be. It's already set to be a celebration of the Negro Leagues, and now it's going to end up where it's going to end up being is a glorious memorial service to Willie Mays. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be a memorial service. It's going to feel like a memorial service to Willie Mays. I wish the Giants were playing the Mets instead. Connection to the Cardinals. I don't know who's wearing what uniforms. I know they're going to be honoring the Negro League, so I don't know who's wearing what uniforms. But the Mets would make more sense now that we know. Now what Willie. They were hoping Willie would be there. Now with Willie gone. So to be the Mets would be better. At Giants and Mets. The other thing that I don't understand, because this has been in the plans for a couple of years now, right? It's June 20th. You missed Juneteenth by one day, and you're celebrating the Negro Leagues. Wouldn't this have made more sense for this game to be on Juneteenth?
Yeah, to isolate it on that Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
True, because, that Wednesday, Juneteenth, too, would have been, it would have been better because, I feel like they used to be the Wednesday night game, and there should have been a game anyway. I miss having Monday night, Wednesday night, Sunday night baseball.
You mean on the TV?
Yeah, on TV, yeah. It should have been something that's on TV for, not only just guys that are just baseball nuts, but, for the youth that, really would, maybe watch it. I don't know. It still would be educational, too, as well. So I'm sure the entire intro and everything like that throughout the game would be good.
Are there any other games tonight Is that the only game tonight? It must be the only game tonight, because I know like the Atlanta's not playing today. The Yankees play at 3:05. I think the rest of the games are all day games. I don't think
there's some games going on right now. Yeah,
there's games going on right now. Well, there is a game. There's a game technically after the Rickwood game. There's a game at 8:40. Yeah, that'll be after.
Brewers,
There's Milwaukee and San Diego.
Nice. Go Brew Crew.
Brew Crew and San Diego. Yeah, right. Go Brew Crew there for sure. So that is out there. Look, I sit there and I say that Willie Mays is the best there ever was. I believe it because of the fact that Babe Ruth, he destroyed the records. He destroyed the records that were before him. I get it. And I get that he was a pitcher, too, for a short period of time, mostly with the Boston Red Sox. I get all of that. But Babe Ruth only played against – he didn't play against all the best players of his era because of the segregation in baseball.
Yeah.
Willie Mays was playing in the major leagues that were fully major leagues. Now, I don't buy that the Negro leagues from the 20s when Babe Ruth was playing in the 30s, that those were the equal of Major League Baseball. I don't buy that. What I do buy is that there were players in the Negro leagues then, maybe 2, 3, 4 players on every team that were good enough to be in the major leagues. But Babe Ruth didn't play against Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige and all of that kind of stuff back in the day. So that's where I think that's a defining thing. I think you have to look at that and say it's a defining thing. The other thing is that, look, man, this dude going to the war or going to the service for 2 years when he's 22 years old.
Right.
I mean, he'd have had over 750 home runs, and he was much more than a home run hitter. And Ruth also, he shattered those rules, the records. We talk about how he had, he blew away these records. But the reality is that Ruth benefited greatly from the ending of the dead ball era. They had the dead ball era, and it ended in 19 and 20. Do you know, Grizz? I mean, this is just,
We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Yeah, I know. Do you know that back then, the quote-unquote dead ball era, a big part of it, do you know that that they used one baseball and that they only took the baseball out of play when the ball started to unravel? Remember as a kid, I don't know if you're, when we were kids, the ball would eventually start to unravel. You'd use the ball for like a week, and the ball, the strings, the laces would get all, and it would unravel.
My dog uses it as a chew toy.
In Major League Baseball, the typical life of a baseball was 100 pitches. The ball would start to come apart. It would be like a sock. By the time they got to the third inning, it'd be like a sock. And by the time you got to the 6th inning, it would be falling apart. Okay, let's put a new baseball in play. You know what I mean? Now, the average life of this is a true stat now. The average life of a baseball right now is 2 pitches. 2 pitches. Can you imagine? I wonder what was the dead ball era.
I mean, I used to watch like this documentary of how it was, like how they were made and everything like that, and how they were prepared and everything like that for the major leagues, and then the mud that they use and everything like that to get the ball ready. Right. But it's just insane because you just think about how much money is spent into that too, how many you have to have on hand, a home team, and just the possibility of running out, because I could only imagine how many times
you couldn't see the ball anymore because what would happen is the ball would get so dirty and nasty you couldn't see it. Plus the spitball was allowed, and they would and
pine tar all over it.
They called it the Emery pitch. The pitchers figured out that if you scuffed it against concrete, you could get the ball would sink wildly at the plate. It would just fall off the table if you had a scuff. So they would have emery boards in their pocket. They would take the ball with them back to the dugout, scratch it on the thing, throw it back out on the field. I mean, it was ridiculous.
And I was like, that is so completely different than nowadays. It's like when as soon as a pitcher walks off the field, he has to look at it. You have to look at his fingers. You have to look at the glove. You have to look at everything.
Oh,
I mean, it's insane.
Insane. Let's get a break. When we come back, Steve Merril, our friend from WagerTalk TV, he joins us next right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's freezer season at Owen Home Appliance Center. So if rising temps have that freezer on its last leg, check out the name brand frost-free upright and chest freezers. Best of all, Owen Home Appliance has them in stock and ready to go or have delivered. Don't let all that high-dollar food go to waste. Go to Owen Home Appliance Center and get that new freezer. And while supplies last, get a $50 gift card towards the purchase of Wagyu beef when you purchase a freezer. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's in the name.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at 5. Bingo every Monday night too starting at 7. Coralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
For everyone.
Experience Alabama's Super Speedway on the water as Gunners of Lake Hydrofest returns June 29th and 30th.
Catch 2 days of fast-paced action as drivers chase speed records on the South's fastest water. 5 classes of race boats will compete, including the H1 Unlimiteds, with speeds pushing up to 200 miles an hour. You won't want to miss this summer's most exciting event on Gunners of Lake. More than just boat racing. The event venue includes kids' water slides, food trucks, custom motorcycles and Jeeps, and interactive displays. Tickets start at just $15 a day for a day pass and $5 for children ages 6 to 12. 5 and under are free, making it the perfect weekend for families. Thursday night, June 27th, head to the City Harbor at 6 p.m. for the ultimate street party, where you can get up close and personal with drivers and race boats and grab team merchandise. The best way to kick off your Hydrofest weekend. Gunners of Lake Hydrofest. Come see it for yourself. More information at gunnerslakehydrofest.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? My phone rings in my office.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're the ones who take your call.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the lower 90s. We're only going to drop into the lower 70s as we head into the overnight and then early into your Friday morning. A partly sunny sky Friday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 90s. We're really going to begin to heat things up as we head into the weekend. A partly sunny sky on Saturday. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s. Much the same as we head into your Sunday. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s under a mostly sunny sky. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We cover all the SEC schools, including Western Union and Venmo.
I want that money!
You know, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
sunshine of my life.
Not exactly. Well, it is.
That's why I'll always be around.
Who is that, by the way? Is that Stevie Wonder?
Yeah.
No. Is it Stevie Wonder?
Stevie Wonder.
Was that a Motown deal? It was probably Motown.
Yeah, I typed it in, and that gave me one of
Okay.
it was like the third option.
Okay. So we're our throwback music today, our throwback Thursday music today is Motown from the 60s, 50s and 60s Motown music, because that's when Willie Mays really exploded onto the scene, obviously as a baseball player. And, of course, we didn't have a show yesterday, so we spent a lot of time talking about Willie Mays. Today, this segment of the show is brought to you by our friends at North Alabama Mortgage. And, look, don't put off that new home purchase. I mean, because when those rates drop, and they will drop, when those rates drop, the home prices are going to go up. So if you buy now, you get the best price that you can possibly have by buying now. And when you buy now and you get your good price, then you can turn around and refi later on when the prices drop. All right? So check that out and get that done. You can do that, and it's a great way to go. Go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com and learn more about it. Brian Hammaker, his team, they're such great friends of the show. All right, joining us now on WZZN TV and on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline is the one and only Steve Merril from Pro Sports Info. Steve, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing well, Tom. How you doing?
I am fantastic. Was off the air yesterday due to the College World Series, so we didn't really get a chance to talk much yesterday about Willie Mays. And I'm just going to say I'm a little bit older than you probably, and I grew up in catching the end of Willie Mays' career. Seeing him stumble around for the Mets and stuff was not fun, but I do remember him, with the Giants late in his career. But when you look at the overall body of work, I think he's the best baseball player that ever lived. I really do. Because Babe Ruth, he didn't play against the best African-American players, so he wasn't playing against everybody. His numbers he blew away, Babe Ruth blew away all the power numbers, but that was when the live ball came in 1920 and the dead ball era was over. I think all things combined, Willie Mays, greatest baseball player ever. What's your thought?
Yeah, I've always thought you have to kind of compare guys within the era because, like the basketball argument, Jordan, LeBron, and how they dominate. So I've always said Wilt Chamberlain was by far the most dominant basketball player. But I mean, they changed several rules because of the guy during his time. And I think Jim Brown in football, maybe Thorpe in football 100 years ago were the two most dominant. Baseball is tricky because I always feel like Willie Mays is vastly underrated, like you're saying, because he came after Jackie Robinson. So Jackie Robinson gets a lot of the credit there. Babe Ruth, obviously, got the home run credit. But if you look at Mays, he was probably the most complete player. I would definitely say that, the most complete player ever in baseball. One thing about Ruth, though, is I know, he dominated during the dead ball era at a time, though. And yes, the Negro League players weren't there yet, so I do think it's a little misleading. But still, Babe Ruth hit more home runs in some seasons than total teams hit, which is insane. Yeah. But once again, these are all all-time greats. You're really splitting hairs when you're talking about Jordan or LeBron or Kobe or Mays or Ruth. Definitely one of the top 5 of all time, no matter how you stack it.
I'm trying to figure out how 33 guys back in 1979, 33 baseball writers did not put Willie Mays even on the ballot. He got 94% of the vote. 33 guys didn't even put him out. How do you not write Willie Mays' name on the ballot the first year Willie Mays is eligible to be on the ballot? I mean, that's mind-boggling, but they used to do that back then.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you should lose your voting rights because you're either incompetent or a racist or I don't know what it was. Who knows in the 70s? You're high maybe. But yeah, I've said that before. A lot of times I think, Tom, what happens with these, you've seen this in other sports as well, like when they know a guy is a slam dunk to get in, they give votes elsewhere. And I get that, but that's not what you're supposed to do. The fact that Willie Mays is not 100% is insulting, first of all. And I really do think somebody should lose their vote in a situation like that.
Yeah, you don't see it as much anymore. Of course, we had the unanimous selection of Mariano Rivera, and he became the first unanimous guy to go in. We had one guy leave Derek Jeter off. One guy left Derek Jeter off. But even more egregious than one guy leaving off Derek Jeter, 3 guys left Ken Griffey Jr. off. How the hell do you leave Ken Griffey Jr. off your ballot? I mean, what are you thinking? It's just mind-boggling. Nolan Ryan 6 guys left. Nolan Ryan off the ballot. Cal Ripken. All right. 8 guys left Cal Ripken off the ballot. those people all I hope none of them are voting anymore.
Well, that's my point. I mean, that's incompetence. And like Cal Ripken, wasn't at the same level as like Nolan Ryan or maybe even Griffey. But of course, the longest streak itself was remarkable. And Cal was my guy growing up in the Northern Virginia area. But Nolan Ryan, Griffey had some injuries. And by the way, I saw a great tweet. I think I reposted it on my Twitter last night at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L, at Steve Merril. They compared Griffey and Willie Mays. And Willie Mays beat him in every category. But to be honest, my takeaway from that, Tom, was I didn't realize how good Griffey had been because he had the injuries, so I never felt like he got over 600 home runs. I didn't realize Griffey had over 600 home runs until I saw that last night.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was a no-brainer. But Nolan Ryan, I mean, that's insane. Nolan Ryan is one of the most dominant pitchers in history. The fact that he would not be an automatic slam dunk first ballot, you really should lose your voting privileges. And there's a lot of people in this country in all aspects of life that should not be voting, including baseball writers.
I always say that you should have to be qualified not only to vote for that, but to vote for like a government. You should have to pass some sort of a civics test or something. I know it's like, every American's got to vote. Whether now they want everybody to vote, whether you're American or not. Just if you're here, you want to vote. But there should be some sort of a rule. You shouldn't be qualified before you vote because we got people voting that I don't know what the hell they're voting for. I'm just saying.
We got to make sure the people voting are actually the ones voting, too. That might be a good starting point.
Yeah, make sure they're alive. Make sure they're around. That's a good point.
Vote Steve early Merril, and often, folks, November 5th.
Yeah, it's Chicago all over again. Early and often is right. Steve Merril with us here. All right. What a dud the NBA playoffs ended up being. I mean, I know you killed it with your selections, but what thank God the NHL. You got the, you get the Edmonton Oilers winning in Game 5, forcing a Game 6, and now it's back in Edmonton, and there's a good chance we're going to see a Game 7. But, man, the NBA playoffs, there wasn't really much of a compelling series. What, Cleveland in Orlando that nobody cared about? I mean, there was not really much compelling about these NBA playoffs.
Yeah, well, one thing we always say about the NBA playoffs, you see less upsets than any other sport. In baseball and hockey, yes, you have a 7-game series, which takes some of the random variance out. First of all, like March Madness, college basketball, a team as dominant as the Celtics, if they have that one off night from three-point range, which they occasionally have, they might not win 6 straight games in the college tournament. So, and same with the NFL playoffs, it's a one-and-done scenario. If you have a couple turnovers in one game, you can get bumped. The 7-game series are better for that reason, but with baseball pitching and hockey goaltending can carry inferior teams, whereas the NBA, they don't see that happen as much. And the Celtics got it done just like I thought they would. Had my strongest play, as you know, of the season on Boston in Game 1. And then unfortunately, they didn't lose again, so I wasn't able to really come back strong with them. Kind of took some spot plays, with Dallas with some success. Game 4, I thought they would maybe show up. They did, but then that set up just a fantastic slam dunk, no pun intended, situation in Game 5 to wrap it up. So, yeah, I love the NBA playoffs, including the finals. But, yeah, Boston's path was kind of lackluster to get there. And we look at the future odds for next year, Tom. Boston's more than a 2-1 favorite over anybody else. They're less than 4-1. Everybody else is 8-1 or higher, including Denver, Dallas, all the other usual suspects. So, it is Boston's to lose. By the way, I was surprised. I put this on X on Twitter as well at Steve Merril after the game. That was the first time in 7 years that the best record in the regular season won the title, which is surprising since, we always talk about how there's less upsets in the NBA playoffs. But I also think it shows how the regular season becomes so watered down in recent years with load management, guys playing only half the year. And it was also the 6th different winner in the last 6 championships that we've had in the NBA. Celtics, of course, lost a couple years ago to Golden State and now finally got it back. So Boston's the team to beat, but it's definitely not a done case that they'll be the team that wins it next year.
Yeah, and, we've been having this discussion privately and on the air in baseball about that very issue because we're seeing 100-win teams not get out of the first round in baseball at times. And, and we're seeing teams that winning it all that are 84, 86. I think Arizona was 84-win team last year. They go to the World Series. And contrary to everything else that I believe in every other sport, which is all about the championships, I made the comment that, I got to be honest with you, especially, I guess, maybe because it's football season by the time we get around to this October and then into November now. But I'm a big baseball fan. I'm going to watch baseball for 6 months. I got to be honest. I'd rather have 6 months of my team winning 2 out of 3 games, winning 100 games, 102 games, 103 games. If the Yankees win 105 games this year in a regular season, they're going to give me 6 months of enjoyment. If they have a lousy week in October and get knocked out of the playoffs or don't win the World Series, I don't know that I care that much. I'd rather have the 6 months of enjoyment than have a team that wins 85 games and then has a great 3 weeks, wins the World Series, but they annoyed me for 6 months. And that it's just weird that way, but that's kind of the way I feel about it with baseball.
Well, the thing that's weird for me also, Tom, is that baseball plays twice as many games. They literally play twice as many. They play the same amount that the NHL and NBA play combined, basically.
Yeah.
Yet less teams make the playoffs. So they have done a better job of adding more teams. And if you look at the National League, right now there's 7 or 8 teams within a couple games of that final wild card spot. It's a fantastic competitiveness. In fact, every team but the Rockies and Marlins are within 2 games of the playoffs right now in the NL. So that's awesome. I mean, that's almost halfway through the season, keeps teams involved. But I also think you have to reward the best teams more like you used to do, right? And you bring up an excellent point. That's what I'm saying.
If it's you just said it though, 162. They're playing as many games as the NHL and NBA combined. So to me, it would be the other way. You ought to have less playoff teams. I mean, because we're getting 6 months to determine this deal. 6 friggin' months, and then all of a sudden you sneak in and then you win.
I get that argument. That's a great point, actually. I guess my point was that it makes the regular season. The problem with having so few playoff teams is kind of when NASCAR had the old system. It was more fair, obviously, to have a points winner.
Right.
But if somebody wrapped it up with 3 races to go, they were meaningless. And the problem with baseball, I look at it the other way, with so many games come August and September, there's a ton of teams that have nothing to play for 40 games. And I think that's kind of a disservice to the fans and to the TV ratings, everything. But with that said, I think the happy compromise of the 2 things we're talking about is you got to protect those 100-win teams better. Now, giving them more time off might not protect them because, like you said, it's been remarkable how bad those top teams have been. And it's strange. You would think after 6 straight months, having a little extra rest wouldn't disrupt the momentum that much. It would help the pitchers. But it's been a real thing. And I'm always careful not to overreact to small sample sets. But the results have been staggering, like you said, how these the wild card teams and whatnot have done. And then you look at the Rangers and the D-backs, the 2 teams from last year's World Series are both struggling this year. With that said, my big takeaway from this, I think the 2 best teams by far in the American League right now are the Yankees and Orioles. One of them will be a wild card team. One of them cannot win that division. So it could really set up well for whoever doesn't win the AL East.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. And they'll be playing at home because they're going to have a record that, they're going to have all 3 of those wild card games at home if there is 3. I will just turn the tables on you. You and I don't debate much. We think very much alike on a lot of things, but I will turn the tables on you with your keeping teams involved thing. All right, I agree with you. We're keeping all these 500 teams involved in the discussion. But you know who's not involved in the discussion in August and September? The good teams. All right, so the Dodger fan, the Yankee fan, the Braves fan, we're all just sitting around waiting for 2 months for the playoffs to start because they're in. And you know that they're going to be in. I'd rather see, these teams with 95, 96, 97 wins battling it out to get into the playoff, as opposed to seeing just a bunch of mediocre teams trying to get into the playoffs while all the good teams are just hanging out waiting for it to start. There's the flip side.
No, I agree. And that's why I think you have to really reward those teams with a couple bye rounds. The problem with my theory is that hasn't been a reward in recent years, right? So I guess the big question, Tom, is there really a disadvantage to having a couple rounds off? I don't know. You would think not, but it's starting to look that way, though. So that kind of throws a fly into the ointment for my argument, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, rust is a real thing. All right, so tonight we get this deal at Rickwood Field, not too far from us here down in Birmingham, and it's kind of a standalone game, which to me I would think is going to lead to some action. A lot of afternoon baseball going on today, so I would think that there'll be some extra action on the Rickwood Field deal. How do you even bother handicapping something like this at a place where we just don't know? It is a spacious ballpark. Do you look at the totals? I mean, we have no history, really, any kind of recent history to kind of figure out what might happen in a game like this. I don't know if there's a trend that came from Iowa, from those games to Field of Dream games, if these are usually lower scoring, higher scoring. I mean, what do we do with this game tonight?
Yeah, first of all, I actually just did a standalone video, an 8-minute video on WagerTalk TV for this game. So after the show, recommend everybody go to YouTube, go to WagerTalk TV, WagerTalk.com, and you'll see a deep dive into this video. I kind of gave out a fun bet, a TV bet in there. It's not an official play for my clients. As you said, it is kind of tricky to handicap these standoff ballparks. We don't have any sample size. Rickwood, of course, the oldest, longest standing professional ballpark in the country, over 100 years. They did put several $1 million into the field alone. They moved the outfield wall back 10 feet. They shifted the field 5 feet to the left even, which is crazy. They put padding on the wall. So they did modernize it, which is kind of a shame in a way, I think. For what it's worth, the sharp money, I do pay attention to the sharp money a little bit more in these games, the early betting money from the professionals, because odds makers do struggle with these type of games. They opened the total 8.5 overnight. The sharp money came in on the over. It's up to 9. 9 is a very key number with baseball totals. So for what it's worth, the sharps are on the over 8.5. Probably a little bit of a smaller ballpark, kind of makes sense. But there's also a little bit of sharp money on the Giants in this game. They opened as a slight underdog. Now it's a pick 'em. They're even a slight favorite in some spots. And I would agree with that move as well. One of the reasons I think the total maybe rose is because Wynn is on the mound for the Giants, and he has been atrocious in his last 5 starts. But if you look at it deeper, he had 4 really bad starts about a month ago, early May, and all of those came against some heavy hitting lineups. And when you delve deeper, you realize that he's done pretty well against mediocre offensive teams. And I think the Cardinals fit that role. In fact, his 4 bad outings were at Philly, in the thin air at Colorado, Dodgers, and Texas. And then he came back against the Angels. They kept him in the rotation, by the way, after 4 bad outings, which tells me they believe in him. And he gave up only 3 runs in 6 innings, 5 hits against the Angels. Before those 4 bad outings, he'd given up 1 run in 6 innings 3 straight times against some other opponents. So I do think Wynn maybe is better than his overall numbers indicate. And I'd lean towards the Giants here if you're looking for a little bit of action on this national TV game tonight.
By the way, I agree with you. If you're going to play a game at Rickwood, play Rickwood. I mean, for them to do all the changes that they made and everything else, they basically, they'll on TV, they'll kind of show the nostalgic end of it and everything else. But all of the changes that they made, I felt the same way about Iowa. I didn't realize when they were going to play the Field of Dream games there that they were building a major league stadium across the cornfield. Yeah, if you're going to play. Go ahead. Let's see you go pay one into the cornfield. If you want to put up a fence, that's fine. But I thought they were going to actually play in front of the house, a little extra grandstands or whatever. Who cares how many people go to the game? Right? This was a TV event. I wouldn't have cared if there were 1,000 people or 500 people at the game, and they had little grandstands like they do at Little League, like they had. I thought they were going to play a real game at the Field of Dreams field, and same thing a little bit here with Rickwood. I mean, they added seats and they modernized it quite a bit. If you're going to do it, do it.
And I agree, especially the pad in the outfield wall. I get they have to do that for safety, I guess, but they film movies in this ballpark over the last couple of decades, like historic movies. And I'm like, I guess they'll take it down if they need to, but you want to see the old school fence and everything else. So I get why they did it, but it is it does take a little bit of the allure out of the game itself.
They replaced the dugouts. They replaced the backstop. They replaced the foul poles. They didn't just add padding. They actually added the fencing. They replaced all the fencing, around the field. Did something with the lights. The light stanchions are historic, so they didn't tear those down, but they did something with the fixtures and and changed it so that the lights would work and so on and so forth for it. So I don't know, but it'll be good. I don't know where I'll go next. I don't know what the next thing is, if this Rickwood thing is going to be a regular deal. The other thing I don't understand is why wasn't it yesterday? If you're going to celebrate the Negro Leagues, why not do it on Juneteenth? Why you put him in it the day after Juneteenth? I'm kind of surprised you didn't do it yesterday.
Yeah, that must have been a scheduling thing, because I believe they take tomorrow off Friday and then they play 2 in so St. Louis is the home team tonight, and then they're at St. Louis Saturday and Sunday. So it had to have been a scheduling thing. But I was with you, Tom. I was like, they missed it by 1 day. It's kind of silly.
Yeah, it did. That was kind of weird. All right. Well, appreciate you as always. I mean, it's good stuff. They're rolling into baseball now, and that's where we are. We're basically baseball only now for the next couple of months, and then things get going again with the football, and it's on like Donkey Kong. So appreciate you as always. We're off next week, Steve. A little vacation time in next week before it gets really crazy. So we appreciate you. We'll catch up in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. Thanks, Tom.
All right. Thank you. Maybe 3 weeks before we get to them. We'll see, because then we got the holiday week. All right, we'll get a break. We'll come back. Final segment of this first hour next. You want to react to any of that, you can. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
With Verizon, now everyone can get our best phone deals.
Even if I'm new?
Even if you're new.
What if I've been with Verizon forever?
Oh, yeah. You see, new and existing customers get the amazing iPhone 15 with tons of storage on us. With any iPhone trade-in, any model, any condition. Guaranteed with unlimited ultimate.
Here's one. What if?
That's a yes. There's a deal out there for everyone. Only at Verizon. $829.99, 128 gigabyte only device payment or full retail purchase with new or upgrade smartphone line on unlimited ultimate plan. Minimum $90 a month with auto pay plus taxes and fees for 36 months required. Less $830 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Trade-in terms apply.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms can include pain, heaviness, aching, fatigue, or swelling at the end of the day. If this has been the case, then Varicosity Vein Center can come to your aid. Evaluation and treatment of the veins is performed as an outpatient, utilizes the latest, minimally invasive techniques, and is covered by most insurances. After treatment, patients may resume most normal activities without delay. Varicosity Vein Center now has 3 North Alabama locations, one in Huntsville on South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road. Our new locations include Madison at Madison Hospital Complex and Coleman at the Coleman Regional Sports Medical Center. You can call 256-715-7151 to set up your appointment with one of our experienced and compassionate team members, or you can visit online at varicosityveincenter.com. Varicosity Vein Center, Alabama's premier vein center.
This summer, make Cheeseburger Bobby's your go-to spot for great food. Try their bucket list burger, 2 beef patties, fried egg, bacon, onion ring, 3 slices of American cheese, Bobby sauce, and topped with a pickle. Their fresh, hand-breaded chicken tenders are a fan favorite, and the chili cheese dog with fries will make you think you've died and gone to hot dog heaven. Cheeseburger Bobby's, 2785 Carl T. Jones Drive. Order online at cheeseburgerbobbies.com. Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
AL cert number 21014.
Welcome into the hottest and coolest game show around called The Freeze. Today's contestant, Bob. Bob, can you tell me the heating and air business that provides free service with repair?
Is it Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
Can you tell me which heating and air business provides free second opinions?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
You are our grand prize winner. You have won a visit from the #1 heating and air business in the Tennessee Valley.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
That's right. Talent Heating and Air is coming to you.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, and you don't have to win a game show to use us. We have free second opinions year-round, and this summer we're doing free service calls with a repair. So just remember, call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-503-4490 or visit us on our website at talenthvac.com.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? It might be in a call center somewhere, maybe 100 miles away, but my phone rings in my office.
The Lackey Law Firm.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're here. We're the ones who take your call.
And get what you deserve.
You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And this is the most important part. We'll treat you like family because that's exactly what we are.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the lower 90s. We're only going to drop into the lower 70s as we head into the overnight, and then early into your Friday morning. A partly sunny sky Friday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 90s. We're really going to begin to heat things up as we head into the weekend. A partly sunny sky on Saturday. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s, much the same as we head into your Sunday. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s under a mostly sunny sky. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And Twitch. Just search 97.7 ESPN. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Oh, there you go. Marvin Gaye? There you go. Little Marvin Gaye. Showing some Motown chops here as we play some 60s classic Motown to help get us in the mood. Willie Mays. You know, we've been talking about Willie Mays a lot. We're going to do a little bit more Willie Mays with Josh Caray coming up at the top of the hour. Then I got some college football stuff I want to get into the rest of the way. David Moulton and I kind of debated the whole issue of the first round home venue deal for the college football playoff, and is it going to be extended when you get to 16? I think we're going to 16 eventually. The 14 thing, I don't understand. But even if it were 14, then you'd have 6 teams playing at home in the first week of the college football playoff, and whether or not that makes sense. And the more I think about it, the more I think those should be bowl games. I'm totally honest with you. It is not going to be like your traditional home game. I'll explain that to you. But it's not going to be, it's going to be at the venue of the home team. But it's not going to be like a traditional home game. And the issue of, well, wait a minute, now I got to go to the first round playoff game, the second round playoff game, the semifinal, and then the national championship game. Well, no, you don't. You don't have to. Do you go to every playoff game if your football team makes the playoffs in the NFL? You're not compelled to go to the divisional playoff and the conference championship and then the Super Bowl. Why is it that we think that the same 70,000 people are going to go to all 4 games? There'll be enough people to go to all the games, believe me. The rest of us will watch it on TV. So we'll get into that in hour number 2 as well. Josh Caray is next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi with next month's Summer Olympics in Paris looming. The U.S. women's 3-on-3 team's dealing with another injury. Atlanta Dream guard Ryan Howard, the first overall pick in the WNBA draft and Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, suffered what appeared to be an ankle sprain last night. She'll undergo further evaluation today. L.A. Sparks rookie Cameron Brink, the second overall pick this year, suffered a torn ACL Tuesday. She's out the remainder of the WNBA season and will be replaced on the 3-on-3 team. This will be a special and emotional night in Birmingham, Alabama, when the Cardinals and Giants take the field at Rickwood Field, the oldest professional ballpark in America. The game will honor the Negro Leagues and the late Willie Mays, the Baseball Hall of Famer, who started his career with the Birmingham Black Barons at Rickwood Field in 1948 and died on Tuesday at the age of 93.
Hey folks, Bobby White here for Woody Anderson Ford. Get ready to experience the ride of your life with our summer lineup. First up, the 2024 Bronco Sport. We've got nearly 75 to choose from. Bronco Sport is built for adventure with its rugged design, all-terrain capability, and advanced tech features. And right now at Woody Anderson Ford, you get $1,750 in total cash back. And yes, we do have the Bronco Badlands Edition in stock. Need something bigger? Check out the award-winning Expedition. Perfect for families and summer vacation. It offers spacious comfort, top-notch safety features, and plus, we've got 24 Expedition financing as low as 2.9% for up to 72 months. And for all you truck lovers, we've got the 2024 F-150. America's favorite truck delivers unmatched power and innovative features, and we've got financing as low as 3.9% for 60 months on F-150. Plus, these are the final hours of no payments for 90 days on select models, including Expedition, Bronco Sport, Explorer, and more. These offers are with your good credit, and they end July 8th. Come on in to Woody Anderson Ford. Hope to see you soon.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Hey Huntsville, looking for action-packed events? The Huntsville Sports Commission is your hub for all things sports. From youth events to national tournaments, we've got events that thrill and inspire. Whether you're an athlete, a fan, or a volunteer, there's something for everyone. Cheer on your favorite teams, witness amazing talent, and be a part of the excitement. Check out our event calendar and get involved at huntsvillesports.com. That's huntsvillesports.com. Be there, Huntsville.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed.
College football.
The ball is caught. It is a touchdown.
Major League Baseball.
That ball is gone. A home run.
This is your place for complete sports coverage all year long. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to move more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. Guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by Minuteman Press. For all your printing and promotional needs, it's Minuteman Press. We use them for the Rocket City Awards, and everything came out beautiful as always. They do a tremendous job, whether it's promotional items or whether it's big-ticket items, signage, and so on. It's all right there at Minuteman Press. They're fast, they're courteous, and they do a tremendous job. I even used them for my church. All right, we needed some stuff for the church. I used them for the church. That's Minuteman Press. Jonathan Dunwoody and his team, they just do such a tremendous job. Who also does a tremendous job is the one, Mr. Josh Caray. He is the voice of the Rocket City Trash Pandas, and he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Josh, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing good as always, Tom, and always glad to be on with you. Hope you're well.
I am, and big doings tonight down in Birmingham. Of course, the Trash Pandas will be hosting Biloxi, so they've got that game going on about the same time that it's going on down at Rickwood Field. It's almost so special in a way. I wouldn't have hated it if all of baseball, minor league and otherwise, would have stepped aside for this special game tonight.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see that, except I think it just pushes everything back and it just makes it harder to schedule around it. It would be special, even more so now that Willie Mays has passed away. But you think about it, sports doesn't really do that. Football played on when JFK was shot. Basketball played on when Kobe died. So I don't know. I mean, if you do it for him, do you do it for every other Hall of Famer who passes away? I mean, I think that's the issue with it, and it just creates such a logistical hassle. That's probably why they don't do it. But I totally get where you're coming from. I mean, it's going to be a very special evening. It was already going to be special. Now it's taking on another added layer with what's happened the last couple of days.
Yeah, no, they definitely need to play the game. I'm like Major League Baseball doesn't have any competing games at that time tonight. That's it. That's the one game that's going on. Afterwards is the Padre game. Will be out west after that game. But at 6 o'clock tonight, that's the only Major League. Everybody else is playing this afternoon. I wish the minors did something like that, is what I'm saying. Is that so that everybody would be able to have the opportunity to take this in. I hate to see that it might hurt the gate, especially here because it's in Birmingham and people will be very interested. Guys like you, all the guys that got to work the game, you don't get a chance to see that. And I just think it would be kind of cool if all of baseball suspended for when they do these special games, whether it's Field of Dreams or Rickwood or whatever, wherever they're going next.
Yeah, I can see that. And, now if you're talking about the minors, we could play on Monday through Wednesday, take the off day Thursday, and go Friday through Sunday. Yeah. So who knows? That may be something they do somewhere down the line.
Yeah, it just would have been a deal. All right, steamrolling towards the end of the first half here. For the Trash Pandas, Biloxi in. Of course, that's always got a little extra interest in it because that's the old Huntsville Stars. But still a lot going on down at the old ballpark. And the weather has been outstanding. Of course, tonight it's a Trash Panda Cap giveaway on Friday night. Tomorrow night, the Marvel Defenders of the Diamond Superhero Night. I know that Grizz will be in attendance for that one. He's not going to miss that. And then May Astronaut Bobblehead giveaway on Sunday. This is a lot of good stuff going on down there.
Yeah, whenever we get to the middle part of the season, that's where we really hit our stride with promotions because kids are out of school now, and folks have a little more time to get down to the ballpark. So, this is about the time where we really start to rev it up a little bit, and we still got to keep everything new and fresh, even though we're grinding through the dog days, if you will. So it should be a lot of fun. We're also going to have fireworks on Friday and Saturday, as we always do at Toyota Field. So, it should be another great weekend of fun, and hopefully we can get some wins as well.
Yeah. The Birmingham Barons, not the Black Barons, that'll be honored tonight, but the Birmingham Barons are they're trying to hold off the Smokies, right? I mean, how many games are we down to here in this first half? Smokies just a game and a half back as the Barons have kind of stumbled a little bit down the stretch. Trash Pandas haven't been able to take advantage of it, but certainly the Smokies have, and they're just hot on their heels.
Yeah, right now it's only a game and a half, and 4 games left to play, and that's a tough series because Montgomery. They're playing Montgomery, and the Biscuits are actually a game and a half ahead in the Southern Division, so they're playing for their playoff lives as well. So that's a tremendous showdown down in Montgomery this week. And so for the Barons, they got to keep playing hard. Meanwhile, Tennessee is taking on a Mississippi ball club that is below 500. Pensacola, they're chasing Montgomery in the South. They're playing a very bad Chattanooga team. So both of those teams that are squaring off this week, they're fighting for their playoff lives, and it's a lot of fun. It's really October for the month of June.
How has Ben Joyce been doing since he went up?
So far, so good. He's been flashing what they call a splinker now, which is a mix between a sinker and a splitter. So I called it a change. I called it a change up when he threw it up here. But he's off to a good start. When he gets the ball over the plate, he's always going to be tough to hit. They had him as an opener in the game on Sunday out at San Francisco, pitched well in that ball game. So it's good to see him. This is the reason why he was brought back. He just couldn't get the ball over the plate during spring training. They wanted him to work on a few things, and this is what the minor leagues are all about. He came down here, got off to a bit of a slow start, but then really came on about mid-May or so, pitched well for about a month, and there he is back in the show doing what he is capable of doing for Los Angeles.
Mentioned a game going on tonight at Rickwood. I guess so. Montgomery and Birmingham played there a couple of nights ago at Rickwood. They did a ton, and I get that they have to do a ton, to play a Major League Baseball game there, and there would be issues, but in a way, I kind of wish, if you're going to play at Rickwood, play at Rickwood, not Rickwood that looks like a Major League Stadium now, you know what I mean? They kind of totally, they rebuilt the dugouts, and they, of course, with the fences and everything else, it was, if you're going to do it. It's like if you're playing in the cornfield, go play in the cornfield in Iowa. Don't build a new stadium next to the Field of Dreams. Play at the Field of Dreams field. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
Well, yeah, I'd like to see that, too. I know the Barons played a few games at the old Rickwood leading up to the pandemic. Like, at the end of the day, the players' union has a lot of power and a lot of sway. And, yeah, it may only be one game, but in order to get that thing on national television and also to accommodate, millionaire talent, you got to build things up a certain way, and you got to take care of TV, you got to take care of radio, you got to take care of all these people, all of these logistics that come into creating one Major League Baseball game. So the hope now is that if they do one game here, hopefully they can do another one down the road, and hopefully they can attract more ball games to Rickwood Field and not just. I think they got a D2 that maybe Stillman College that plays some games during the collegiate season, but hopefully get some more action on that field year round. I think that would be great to see, and it'd be a nice little added bonus for the city of Birmingham.
We have seen, we saw the Trash Pandas have a celebration of the Negro Leagues back, June 8th. What did the Trash Pandas do for uniforms that night?
No, we did regular uniforms.
It was just okay.
Yeah, I've actually pitched that we have a throwback jersey. I don't know why we haven't done it, but it's certainly something I like to bring up again. I know at the Southern League Negro Museum in Birmingham, which is right next to Regents Field up there, they have a jersey hanging that says Huntsville on it, and it's actually very simple. Really? It says Huntsville in cursive in blue. It's got pinstripes, and it's the old Negro League jersey that was worn in North Alabama when they had a team here. So I'd like to see us do something like that. I don't know why we haven't done it, but it's certainly something worth bringing up.
I know a lot of minor league teams have done it. A lot of minor league teams have worn a uniform that is, something that is reminiscent of back in the old Negro Leagues. Of course, we lost Willie Mays a couple of days ago, and it makes it turns tonight into something a little more than just the celebration of the Negro Leagues and playing the game at Rickwood Field and the celebration of Rickwood Field. It feels like to me that tonight is going to be one hell of a memorial service. I don't want to say a funeral because a funeral implies, everybody will be down. I think this is going to be a Willie Mays memorial service tonight, and we should celebrate the life of Willie Mays and and his greatness. And I'm out there. I said it. I think he's the greatest ball player ever. I do. I think because he played against everybody. It wasn't like, what Babe didn't play against the African-American great players back then. He also benefited from the ball going from the dead ball era to the live ball era. And so that kind of blew up some of those power numbers a little bit. But when you add in the speed, the stolen bases, the greatest outfielder ever to be out there, I'm old enough to have caught him right at the end of his career. But I think he's the greatest baseball player that ever walked on the face of the earth.
Yeah, I've said it on air. He's certainly in the top 5, and I never even saw him play. But I think what's so special about what's happening now is when people talk about the golden era of baseball, what do they talk about? They talk about 1945, I would say, to about 1970, right?
Mm-hmm.
With his passing, that's really the end of that era. You think about Musial, Mays, Aaron, Mickey Mantle. Yeah. Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio, all those guys are gone now for what was such a special part of this game. And for me, I definitely put him in the top 5. I think you got to consider a lot of guys from that era, especially Henry Aaron, who might not have had the same speed, but was certainly just as powerful and hit for some incredible power numbers as well. But at the end of the day, you're right. With his passing, it's the end of an era, but also because it's in Birmingham and because the Giants are involved, I don't know how you not pay tribute to him at all. And if this does turn into a 9-inning tribute service for him, so be it. Because if there's someone who's deserved it, it's him.
Yeah, I think Aaron was a better hitter. I do think Aaron was a better hitter. I think that it's just the all-around play. I give the nod to Mays there. I don't understand why the Braves aren't in this game. I mean, this is Alabama. Hank Aaron and Willie Mays from Alabama. Why isn't this the Giants and the Braves? You know what I mean? What is the connection to the Cardinals in this game? Earlier I said maybe the Giants and the Mets, if we knew about the Willie Mays situation, it would be that. But from the get-go, why wouldn't this have been the Giants and the Braves and Willie Mays and Hank Aaron,
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that too. I think I don't know the answer, Tom, but I think the only thing I can think of is for Willie's time during his prime, the Braves were in Milwaukee, and really the southernmost team to Alabama, the closest team to Alabama, was the Cardinals, believe it or not. That's one of the reasons why Grandpa was so popular, is that his voice was heard not just in the Midwest, but throughout the Southeast as well. And so I think that may have a lot to do with it. And also, if we're talking about that golden era, and I know this is more of a tribute to the Negro Leagues, if nothing else, but when we talk about the golden era, Stan Musial was just as much a part of that as anyone else. So sure. I don't know if that may play a role in it as well. I would have loved to have seen the Braves in it. It would have made a lot of sense to me as well. But that may be part of it, is that at that time when Willie was in his prime, the Cardinals were, or Alabama rather, was Cardinals country.
Yeah, it's just Hank's from Alabama. You know what I mean? Hank and Willie, these two guys are Alabama guys. And, I mean, when did they come in, when they moved to Atlanta? 65, is it, when the Braves came from 66. Milwaukee to Atlanta? 66. Okay. Well, yeah. Willie was still playing some pretty good baseball. 66 through 70, he was still pretty good. At 72 is when he gets traded. And it's just... unfortunately, I have memories of him stumbling around as a Met, and I don't like that. They didn't have the DH, and the guy had been playing since he was 17 years old. I mean, it was crazy, how much baseball he had played over his time, and it was just absolutely nuts. Speaking of the Braves, kind of making a little noise there as the Phillies are kind of stumbling around a little bit, 4-6 in their last 10, and the Braves go 6-4, and all of a sudden it's 7, and we're not talking about a first half, second half type of deal. All of a sudden it's 7. What if it's 5 or 4 or 3 by the time another month goes by and it's the All-Star break? You know what? Maybe we don't just hand this over to the Phillies too quickly.
Oh, no. I don't think you ever hand anything over. And as long as you have a shot, you ought to go for it. I think the question then becomes, what do you feel like you can do come October? And I wish I could sit here and tell you that the division title means something, and it still does. It's not what it once was. And I think Alex Anthopoulos and his group, when they sit down and meet, they need to ask themselves, what can we do in a best of 5? What can we do in a best of 3 if we don't win the division? And then what do we need to do in a best of 7? Right now, the Braves, I still think they're in pretty good shape. But let's remember something. They beat up on a very subpar Detroit ball club. The Rays are having a so-so year. So I wouldn't get too excited just yet. Let's let this thing play out. Let's let it marinate. Let's get it to the trade deadline, which will be in late July, and just see where everything is. But, yeah, if you're 4 or 5 games out and you feel you can make a couple of deals to make your team better come October, go for it. And if you wind up winning the division, so be it.
Braves and Yankees this weekend. This will end at 12 straight games against the American League for the Braves. And apparently I'm the last person that even cares anymore. Nobody cares anymore. It's like the AFC and the NFC and the NFL. Everybody just, it's the NFL and that's it. You play fewer games against the other conference than you do your own conference. But I still, I still distinctly remember 2 distinct leagues with different umpires and different rules and different, I had a National League team, an American League team. When I was a kid, I used to watch Willie Mays and Willie McCovey and the Giants, and my dad was close friends with Johnny Antonelli. And he was a Giant, so that made me, a Giant fan. And in the National League, and I never had to worry about the 2 playing because they never met in a World Series and, and all that kind of stuff. But 12 straight games here for the Braves against American League teams. It is kind of weird,
Yeah, it's strange. It's but Now that everyone is playing each other every season, which, by the way, I think is great for baseball because I like the idea of Mike Trout coming to Atlanta once every 2 years as opposed to once every 6, if he's healthy, that is. But with that said, it is a little odd. I remember American and National League as well. But let's face it, everyone wanted to see their favorite player play in their own ballpark, and this allows for that. And who knows, it may get into an area 10, 20 years from now where we say, you know what, why don't we separate the leagues again? Just because, it was more fun watching two teams who had never faced each other square off in the World Series. But right now we're at a period where we want to see everyone play. It's good for the marketing of the game, and that's something baseball's always needs to work on.
Got a question from one of our listeners hitting the text window. He wants to know if your brother Chip is going to be on the KMOX radio broadcast at all since they can't do the game on TV. Did Chip make the trip to Birmingham?
You know what? I don't know. I didn't even ask him about that. It wouldn't surprise me if he's there just to watch as a fan, but I think they keep their radio and their TV pretty much separate in St. Louis, so I don't know if that'll happen or not, but I know Fox has the call tonight, and it should be a lot of fun.
Always appreciate it. Josh Caray, by the way, speaking of a lot of fun, Josh, another all-SEC final in the College World Series, this time Texas A&M, the Aggies, for the first time in this College World Series final. Tennessee Volunteers trying to get the victory. Number one team in the country. A&M looks pretty salty. Both these teams undefeated in Omaha, and I think we'll have a nice little weekend of college baseball as well.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Anytime you can see a new champion, I think is good for the game. And really, it wasn't just the SEC this time around. The ACC was also very heavily had 3 teams get in there as well. So
4 and 4. There were 4 from each conference
right,
there.
It was.
Yeah.
You're right. It was 4 and 4. But again, baseball in the Southeast. I remember when college baseball was Texas and California and the Southeast. Now it's become a much more regional sport. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it just tells you the talent that's one, growing up here in the South, but 2, the fact that the coaches are able to recruit players from across the country to come down here as well. That's a credit to both of those conferences.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to California. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it used to be a lot of different Cal Fullerton. There was a million different teams from California that used to compete at the highest level. And we don't see anything coming out of California anymore. It has become highly Southeast, which for us, that's fine. But, that's the biggest one. Of all those states that you just mentioned, the biggest surprise is maybe California not being really involved in this stuff in the recent years.
Well, obviously the Pac-12 and what they're going through had a lot to do with that. But also you look at a lot of those mid-major schools like the Cal State Fullertons and the Pepperdines and those types of teams. Those are all non-football schools. And I don't know if the lack of revenue from that hurt them or if maybe they just started pouring all their money into basketball and baseball got left behind. I don't know. But there was a time where the Big West and the West Coast Conference were major players in collegiate baseball, and that's just not the case anymore. And it's a real shame because there's so much talent out there. Long Beach State, that was another big-time team for a time. Love to see that rekindle again, but, you got to put more money into it. Wichita State's going through the same thing right now. But if they can put more money into baseball, that's a proven moneymaker, and I really hope those programs do it again.
Cal State Fullerton's been to Omaha 18 times, and they haven't been back there since 2017. They won the College World Series 4 times, the last time in 2004, and they were there, man. They used to be there all the time.
Yeah, and they had some Major League talent come out of there as well. So you just look at the Major League alumni, you'd be impressed.
Yeah. All right, man. Good stuff as always. Appreciate you, Josh.
All right, have a good one.
All right, when we return, we're going to open up the phone lines for the rest of the show. 256-576-4977. Got a couple of things to get into. One, I am curious for you guys, if you want to react to this, now that it's all SEC, because I pulled for every SEC team in every matchup. And like last night, I didn't really care that much. Florida, Texas A&M, I just wanted an SEC team. And I kind of wanted Florida, Tennessee because of the history between those two schools. Tennessee, I pulled for Tennessee in the upper bracket for one reason and one reason alone. They were the only SEC team in that upper bracket. And they just hammered Florida State last night. So we get Tennessee and Texas A&M. Now that it's Tennessee and Texas A&M, I guess if you're not a baseball fan at all, you don't care at all. But in the SEC, we all have a rooting interest, don't we? I mean, don't we all kind of pull whenever any of the SEC teams are doing anything? So my question is this. If you're an Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Vanderbilt baseball, if you're a fan of any of the other teams, or if you're just an Auburn or Alabama fan in our own neck of the woods, who do you want to win this series? Who do you want to win this series now? Who are you rooting against? Because you're not rooting for anybody. I'll be brutally honest with you. I live in Tennessee. I was at Jefferson's last night for dinner with one of the deacons from the church before we had a prayer meeting at church, and my wife and I and the deacon and his wife, we went to Jefferson's, because where else would you go with the deacon from your church but a sports bar? And we were in there having dinner, and there were a ton of Tennessee fans in there. And they were hooting and hollering anytime Tennessee was doing it. It was near the end of the game, and when the game ended, everybody's up there and they're cheering. Blah. I live in Tennessee. I'm pulling for the Aggies. Now, I was pulling for Tennessee out of the upper division bracket, because they were the only SEC team in that bracket. Now that they're in the final against the Aggies, gig 'em, baby.
Dirt neck.
Gig 'em.
It's despicable.
All about the gig 'em. And I hate that for my Tennessee friends, but I'm not pulling for Tennessee. What about you? Will you pull for one team? Not hold it till that's just a professional tease here till after the break here. So when we come back, we'll find out from Grizz, and we'll find out from you guys. You want to jump in 256-576-4977. Who you pulling for in the Tennessee Texas A&M matchup in the College World Series this weekend? 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Trading terms apply.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Our customers trust us not only to find the right hardware, but to advise them on the technology that makes them more efficient.
My Next Level team researches and discovers real solutions. Check-in software, HR, digital signature, and workflow software. It saves you money immediately. We hold your hand and stay with you through the transition.
We're taking our customers to the next level in business process automation.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the lower 90s. We're only going to drop into the lower 70s as we head into the overnight and then early into your Friday morning. A partly sunny sky Friday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 90s. We're really going to begin to heat things up as we head into the weekend. A partly sunny sky on Saturday. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s. Much the same as we head into your Sunday. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s under a mostly sunny sky. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Our steady diet consists of food and football, and occasionally some baseball and hoops.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid?
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
So I'm talking about right there was we slide you a little Motown to celebrate the Rickwood game and to celebrate Willie Mays, his dominance of the 60s, and the fact that it will be highly celebrated tonight. The segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by the Service Department of Woody Anderson Ford. It's not just any service department. It's an award-winning service department. They do routine checkups. They keep your Ford and other brand in perfect working order. But you know what? If you have a bigger problem, their expert service technicians are going to quickly diagnose it. They're going to use state-of-the-art tools to resolve it. And they do all kinds of preventative maintenance issues, take care of preventative maintenance, and they also do bigger things like brakes and air conditioning and transmission repair. It's all done at Woody Anderson Ford. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com to learn more about it. Even Bobby White, who's a general manager over there, even he knows some stuff about the whole service thing. He's not over there turning a wrench, but I told him about a little issue that my wife was having with her Mustang, and he knew exactly what it was immediately. He's like, oh, yeah, I know what that is. Just get it in, we'll take care of it. You know, he's the general manager. But he cares about the service department. And the service department cares about you. All right, phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. We'll get you in. Let's go right to the lines. We start with Grumpy. Grumpy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Hey, you had mentioned that Mays had only played for the Black Barons for like 13 games. That's a great trivia thing. When he got traded from the Black Barons, did he stay in the same league or did he move up to the next league?
No, he was signed from the Black Barons. He was signed by the New York Giants, and they then sent him to the minors. So he played in Trenton in the minor leagues in 1950, going into the 1951 season, and then he goes up to the majors for a short period of time. Then he ends up in the service. So, you know, he played, well, I say he played a short period of time. He actually played 121 games. He came up in 1951. He played about 30 games in the minors for the Giants. Then he went up, played 121 games for the New York Giants and was the Rookie of the Year. And then he went to the service for 2 years. I mean, with age 21 and 22, he was in the service, not playing baseball.
Well, that's a great answer, man. You were prepared. So when he left Birmingham, he didn't go back, so he really did only play like 6 games there. Okay,
played, cool. 13 total games, hit 233. He picked up 10 hits, so they added those 10 hits to his hit record. You know, over the years, for years and years and years, it was always that Willie Mays had 3,293 hits or 3,283 hits. It was 3,283 hits for the last 50 years. And then they added those 10 that he got with Birmingham, and now he's got 3,293 hits. No home runs, though.
Okay, so this question that you just asked, now, this is the way I see it. If there's 2 SEC teams and neither one of them is Auburn or Alabama, then I'll just watch the game, and I really don't care who wins. I just, it's just a great scenario of them both being in there. If it's Alabama against another SEC team, I'm rooting for the other SEC team. And if there's only one SEC team in it, I'm rooting for the other conference.
What? So if it was Tennessee and Virginia or whatever, I don't know, I forget who it was in the lower bracket that was not the SEC team.
Well, I misspoke.
If it was Tennessee,
I
UNC.
If it was Tennessee, I'm an Auburn fan, but Tennessee's my second best team since I've been here for 12 years. If it was Tennessee, I guess I would root. But anybody else in the SEC.
So Texas A&M, Florida State. It almost ended up Texas A&M, Florida State. So Texas A&M, Florida State. You're pulling for the ACC team instead of the SEC.
Yeah, and I think an intelligent SEC fan that's well informed would follow what I'm saying. And you already know what I'm about to say. And it's about recruiting, and it's about all of the next generation of athletes watching that team. And if Texas A&M wins one, there goes 6 more 5-stars. Yeah, I don't know if baseball does the stars, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So you're saying I'm not an intelligent SEC fan, is what you're saying? You just called me out. Listen, I didn't pull for them, but I wanted Auburn to beat Oregon in the national championship game because I didn't want the damn national championship.
Go here and there. Sometimes you got this connect the dot thing going on where I don't know.
I'm connecting the dots. I wanted the SEC to win. I didn't want Oregon to be the national champion. That might have changed the whole landscape of things. There might still be a Pac-12.
I don't know if that's virtue signaling or if you're telling the truth.
I didn't sit in my chair and yell out War Eagle, but what I did was I sat there and I nodded. When the kid kicked the field goal, I nodded. When the Dyer, didn't go down and the knee never touched the ground, I was like, damn right, that's a touchdown.
Hey, Chad, when this is over, can you go back and grab Tom's War Eagle so we can use it later? Hey, also, let me say this, that Tennessee, I'm going to be real brief and get off of here. Tennessee, I think they should change their names from the Vols to the Cicadas because they've been in hibernation for 13 years, football-wise. But now that they're back, they're going to be really noisy.
Yeah.
And you're going to have your hands full with Tennessee. A lot of money gets generated with that university. I don't think a lot of people know how much money is generated with Tennessee buying their paraphernalia. The fans, they're as rabid.
You say that because you, like me, that's because you live in Tennessee like I do.
Man, I'm telling you, man. It's
a basketball, baseball. It's a basketball, baseball school now. They're basketball, baseball type of deal right now. We'll
all right, man. Later. Thanks.
Bye. They're 9-3 next year. They could be 10-2. They're going to be like 9-3 probably. I say they lose at Oklahoma. I say they lose to Alabama, and I say they lose to Georgia. I think they're 9-3. You okay with that, Tennessee fan? 9-3? That's where you live.
Nah.
Jeremy Noble is next. Jeremy, welcome to the show. How are you?
What's going on, Tom? Webster's Dictionary says that the word brief stands for a short duration.
Yeah. He was brief. He grades. Grumpy grades his call next to Wolverine Dan, Natty Danny, and Brandon, who we haven't heard from in a month now, and those guys. So that's who he's, comparing himself to.
Well, then it is brief.
Yeah.
I disagree with him, though. I disagree with him. I'm pulling for Tennessee. If it was, because I don't like Texas A&M.
Well, he is too. He said he's pulling for Tennessee. It's his second favorite team in the SEC is Tennessee. But what I said was,
of why.
But he said if it was
why is terrible.
No, but because he lives in Tennessee.
Even
but
if it was Texas A&M,
and Florida State. Let's go
Florida State, I'd pull for Texas A&M.
Thank you.
Because
now you're talking.
SEC. I'm an SEC guy.
Yeah,
and
it's hard.
It don't bother me.
That's what I'm saying. Now that it's two SEC teams, will you pull for either one, or do you just sit back and watch it? He's going to pull for Tennessee because he likes Tennessee outside of Auburn. The question is, if it's an SEC team and any other conference, do you pull for the SEC team? No, yeah, I am too. Just like I did for Auburn against Oregon in the national championship. I pulled for Auburn against Florida State in the national championship game. Not much, a little bit.
I pulled for Auburn in the Final Four a few years ago against Virginia. I mean, so it's an SEC thing. Alabama's not in it, I want the SEC to pull it up because I want, we chant SEC at the games for a reason. I mean, it's not like we're just doing it because, it's because it's the best conference in everything. I mean, pretty much. So why not? We're going to support it. I mean, heck, y'all want SEC to win another national championship in anything. Putt, golf, swimming, gymnastics. I don't care. I want the SEC to win that national championship.
Amen, brother. I'm with you.
But,
Preach.
hey, Tennessee is I'm pulling for them because since I was born, my family has driven through Knoxville, Tennessee every year, and to go to the Smoky Mountains, and I fell in love with that area. And East Tennessee is the most beautiful town. It's a beautiful side of the state, and it's not filled with a bunch of people from California like Nashville is. And it's just a great, just peaceful town. I love it in Knoxville. I love East Tennessee. And a few years ago, we stopped at the University of Tennessee, and they were running through their practice because the next weekend they were playing Wyoming in their season opener.
Yeah.
And so I'm standing there on the side, got an Alabama hat on, and I'm standing there on the side, and Philip Fulmer walks up to the gate and starts talking to me. And he said, first words out of his mouth was, "You been on vacation?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "All right, good." He said, "I'm just making sure you ain't nobody watching, from Alabama." And he starts laughing. But then he walks out of the gate and comes out there and takes a picture with me and, talks with me and everything. And ever since that, I felt like Tennessee's my second team. So, and I guess that's
Jeremy.
the way it is for a lot of folks in Alabama. Tied.
Appreciate you, Jeremy. I'll just say this. I think East Tennessee is absolutely beautiful. I love Douglas and Cherokee Lake up there in East Tennessee. I think that Gatlinburg is beautiful. Pigeon Forge, I could do without. Gatlinburg is absolutely beautiful. I like Knoxville. I love when the Bassmaster Classic is in Knoxville. It's a nice city. Philip Fulmer is from Franklin County, where I live. His name is on the plaque up by the stadium. I have met Philip many times. He's always been very kind to me. He's always asking about the kids. I have gone to back when my son, Captain Cool, was playing for the Franklin County Rebels. They'd have their spring game, and Philip Fulmer would be there. And I went, and there's Philip at practice, and he's up in the top row. And I went, I sat down with him. Which one's your boy? Number 10. Oh, he's a good-looking receiver. Yada, yada, yada. I live in Tennessee. My pastor is passionate about the Vols. Everybody in my town, because this is the hometown of Philip Fulmer, is passionate about the Vols. And having said all of that, I hope the Aggies put it to them.
Dirt net.
I just wanted to get them out of I wanted Tennessee to come out of the bracket because they only had one SEC team in that bracket. But now that we have a final, let's go Aggies. All right, we get a break. Come back. More of your phone calls. The SEC, we love the SEC. What if it was the SEC presented by Regions Bank? The Big 12 is talking about possibly selling their name. I got a thought on that, too. Plus, a couple of funny ones have popped up as well. We'll get to that. It's Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I didn't sit in my chair and yell out, War Eagle. Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, Invisicook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Spring Showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash and the freezer freezers free and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship in insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. We're extremely proud that Baumhauer's Victory Grill has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Experience Alabama's Super Speedway on the water as Gunners of Lake Hydrofest returns June 29th and 30th. Catch 2 days of fast-paced action as drivers chase speed records on the South's fastest water. 5 classes of race boats will compete, including the H1 Unlimiteds, with speeds pushing up to 200 miles an hour. You won't want to miss this summer's most exciting event on Gunners of Lake. More than just boat racing, the event venue includes kids' water slides, food trucks, custom motorcycles and Jeeps, and interactive displays. Tickets start at just $15 a day for a day pass and $5 for children ages 6 to 12. 5 and under are free, making it the perfect weekend for families. Thursday night, June 27th, head to the City Harbor at 6 p.m. for the ultimate street party, where you can get up close and personal with drivers and race boats and grab team merchandise. The best way to kick off your Hydrofest weekend. Gunners of Lake Hydrofest. Come see it for yourself. More information at gunnerslakehydrofest.com.
Byram Energy Solutions is your one-stop shop for all your petroleum needs. They have over 50 years experience in the business and offer bulk sales of all grades of gasoline and diesel fuel. Byram Energy Solutions has diesel exhaust fluid, multiple grades of motor oil, hydraulic fluids, and many different types of grease. They provide on-site fueling, on-site loaner takes, inventory control, and fleet fuel management. You can also stop by their warehouse on Highway 231 in Lacey Springs and get any of the products they offer. Visit Byram Energy on Facebook to learn more.
Looking for your next game day party destination? Well, think outside the box and kick back at Flow Supreme Air. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flow tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flow, think fun for everyone.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 977 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. This segment brought to you by the Orthopedic Center. We celebrate the 60s with the passing of Willie Mays, dropping some Motown in there on you on a Throwback Thursday. Thousands of area residents have received world-class care from the Valley's most trusted and experienced group of orthopedic surgeons and medical specialists. TOC services the Huntsville Havoc, Alabama A&M, and most of the high schools in the region with 13 locations throughout the Tennessee Valley. If you have orthopedic problems and are considering professional care, TOC is the only logical choice. Whether you have a work-related injury or got sidelined playing the sport that you love, you need the best care, the best physicians, the best facility to get you back in the game. I think you will agree that that is the Orthopedic Center. All right, so there's a poll out there, several thousand respondents to it. The Athletic did a poll, and they talked about what bothered you more, the NIL, transfer portal, that kind of stuff, or the possibility of your conference changing its name. People are really bothered by the conference changing its name. They're like, NIL, we can live with that. Transfer portal kind of sucks, but don't be changing the name of my conference. This all came up when the Big 12, there was rumors that the Big 12 was looking at selling the name of their conference, yet it would keep the number. It would be like the All-State 12 instead of the Big 12. I don't know why it wouldn't be the All-State Big 12, but the first thing is that we got to get rid of the numbers. We got to get rid of the numbers. The Pac-12 is gone, okay? We know the Pac-12 is gone. They got two teams that the Pac-12 is gone. The ACC is the ACC, whether they got 10 teams, 12 teams, 15 teams, 18 teams. The SEC is the SEC. Used to have 12, they used to have 10, then it had 12, then it had 14, now it's got 16. Still the SEC. Now, if it was the SEC presented by Regions or Regions Bank SEC, wouldn't bother me. I don't care. If they want to be the Regions Bank SEC.
Mercedes-Benz SEC.
As long as it's still SEC, doesn't bother me. Now, the Big 12, I have a suggested name for them. How about the Southwest Conference? Just go back to being the Southwest Conference. And now you say, well, yeah, but there's teams from all over the place. Arizona, well, they're the Southwest. Just call yourself the Southwest Conference. Now, if you want to be the All-State Southwest Conference, you could be the All-State Southwest Conference. But here's some suggestions for a few others, Grizz.
Yeah.
How about the Pop-Tarts Conference for the Pac-2, because it comes in a package of two. Two teams. So it's called the Pop-Tarts Conference.
Toaster strudel.
You get two. That's it.
Strudel
two teams. How about the American Athletic Conference, the AAC?
Yeah.
How about the American Airlines Athletic Conference? That might make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. How about the Mountain West? How about we change the Mountain West to the Mountain Dew West?
I would take that.
That work?
Probably pay money for that. Whoever
Mountain
Dr.
Dew
Pepper
West?
is.
Yeah. And Conference USA could be the Conference USA Today Conference.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good.
Although I don't think the Conference USA, well, they have our website now, right? So, the USA Today.
It, yeah.
USA
I thought the Big 12 would be like
website.
the WWE 12 or something, or
Why would
they
it
have
be the
they have
WWE
the
12?
championship belt and all that stuff when they win the Big 12.
Oh, do they have a belt?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they had a belt. How about they need to get the number out of there. What do they got right now? Now, are they back to 12? They had 14 or 16. No, I think the Big 12 has, for years, the Big 12 was the Big 12 with 10 teams. All right, let me get Stray Dog in here. Stray Dog, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, Tom. Glad to talk to you again.
Appreciate hearing from you, man. It's been a minute, man.
Yeah,
been a minute.
Old Porch Dog, he's in Florida right now. I don't know if he's been in touch with you.
Yeah.
But
What's
anyway, I wanted to thank you for bringing up the fact Willie Mays did miss 2 years doing military service. That would have been another 60 to 80 home runs to his record, more than likely. But I'd like to bring out the point that had he played in another park besides Candlestick, just think of the warning track shots that would have been out of other parks.
Oh,
I think he'd still be chasing his record.
Yeah, I mean, and
anyway,
look, the
he
2
was
years,
great.
the 2 years after he came back from the service, he hit 92 home runs. So
there
if
you go.
if he hit 92 home runs those 2 years, he'd have 752. So
yeah,
and he played in the Polo Grounds.
Not take nothing away from Hammer and Hank, but if he'd have played in Atlanta,
oh God,
like Hank got to,
he'd have hit 800 in Atlanta. He hit 800.
Yeah.
And people don't understand how tough it was to hit a home run at Candlestick Park.
Yeah, with
Cold,
the wind blowing in.
windy, always blowing in, cold.
Yeah, he was an amazing player. There's no two ways about it. And he was always, I've loved him ever since I was a child. I knew that man was special. Had a friend of mine meet him, and actually, after he was older in years, he actually helped Willie and his wife carry their luggage. And he said he never met a more nicer person than Willie.
Yeah.
And I got to watch a documentary of him. They tried to get him into being, a leader in civil rights and whatnot, which he'd have been a great one. But he said, you know what? I get to play ball every day.
Yeah.
And if I just keep being the best ball player I can be, I will get the respect. And he told a lot of the younger players under him that same thing. And then in the documentary, they Bobby Bonds, Willie McCovey said how he might have saved their careers because they kind of wanted to start rocking the boat a little, and they may have got shunned at that time.
He was,
So
yeah. Thanks for the call, Stray Dog. That's a good job by you. He was Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan. He's like, you know what? I'm a ball player. Don't force me into something I'm not comfortable with. I'm a ball player. Royce is up next. Royce, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to hear from you, Tom. I love your show. In my opinion, Fine Bomb should take a back seat to you. And also, the reason I like your program, I'd never heard of Owens Appliance, and I pastor a church in Decatur, River City Baptist, and we needed a couple of refrigerators, commercial refrigerators. And because of your program and them advertising, I called them, and they delivered it Monday, went above and beyond, and so they're good folks. If you need something, give them a call.
Yeah, Mike Owens, great guy, and I'm glad that you got a chance to go down there. Now, do I embarrass you that you listen to my show? Because I do have some pastors. Pastor John Dees listens to the show as well. I have some pastors that listen to the show, and they usually, kind of correct me if I get a little blue or if I get a little off color. But I try not to. You know what I mean? I try to honor my faith. You know what I mean?
I understand, and I appreciate you talking about your church every now and then. And so I figure if you do get a little off, the Lord will speak to you. I don't have to do that.
That's true. He does. He does. About pretty much after every show, I get a little conviction going on there. But all right, man.
I appreciate you.
All right, thank you. Good job by Royce. All right, do I have a chance to get Jesse in? Jesse, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Hey, who was the guy talking about he met Philip Fulmer where at?
He met him, I don't know. He was at practice up there, and he was in Knoxville, and they were at practice, and Fulmer saw he had an Alabama hat on. He was joking with him, are you spying on us?
Well, I wish you would have threw a double cheeseburger at Phil or something. I don't know how I'm a lifelong Bama fan, graduated from there a few years ago. I don't know how anyone can pull. I've never in my life rooted for Auburn. Don't think I have for Tennessee. I know they've had some really bad years the past few years. But I, as an Alabama fan, a lifelong fan, I don't know how people do it. I don't care about the SEC. There's only one team that I care about.
So you won't pull for anybody. So what about this series? I mean, you don't even going to watch it? I mean, you got two SEC teams playing for a national championship.
Yeah, I really don't know because I can't stand Texas A&M.
I don't like them either.
Well,
I don't like them. I don't like them, but I don't like Tennessee. So I gotta watch it. Come on, we gotta watch it a little bit.
A&M's a bigger cult than Auburn is, in my opinion. So I don't know. But anyways, excited about football season coming up. And actually more excited about the new college football game that's about to come out.
The video game?
Yeah.
See, that doesn't do anything for me. But a lot of people are really fired up for it. No, I'm good. God bless you. So are you not? So what are you going to do? You're going to make every other team in the SEC suck?
No.
Okay.
No. That I grew up during that era, though. I mean
Yeah.
It's been 11 years since they had it, so
yeah, I hear
we got
you, man.
high hopes for this season coming out.
Jesse, that's a good call by you. Don't be a stranger, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
Good job by Jesse. I mean, look, I got to have a rooting interest. You know this. I can't watch anything without a rooting interest. So I'm going to pull for Texas A&M. That's just the way it'll be. Pull for somebody. Got a big show set up for you tomorrow. There's so much more stuff I want to get to. But we'll do it tomorrow on Football Friday.